Hello, visionary, and welcome. We got Bijou. She's working it today. So welcome to your advanced human design workshop that we're going to be doing today and talking about today. So last week we did the basics, human design basics, and if you weren't able to attend live, you can still email me if you had signed up for that, you want to see the replay, or go ahead and type in the chats if you want to see that replay. I need to get your email and then I can send it to you. But this week we're going to be talking about the advanced human design and what exactly advanced human design means. And so if you're here live, just say hello and that you can hear me and see me okay. And then we're going to dive into the intel for today. So I'm totally sporting the 80s hair today. So how is everybody? And happy Friday. So what exactly do we mean by advanced human design? So what I'm talking about with the advanced human design is what we find beneath the surface. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. So oftentimes I ask you guys when you're showing up live to bring some kind of a sacred item, a candle or a crystal or something to kind of designate the power of tapping into something more powerful, designating the intention to learn about yourself, to explore deeper levels of your consciousness. So today I'm going to be bringing my crystals. So I hope you guys have something. I also have my tea, chai tea. So I'm sporting the chai tea today, but whatever you guys have to drink is totally perfect. You got the wine, you got the coffee, you got the green juice. Whatever you got is great. Hey, Christine. Hey, Jennifer. You made it. Yay. Awesome. So who's here? Type in the chat. Let me know if we have projectors, MGs, manifestors. Who do we have on the call today or on the live, the broadcast?
Unable to share to event.
Unable to share to event. So, hey, Davidian, can you make a post in the event just saying, please go to the Facebook group?
I can't post anything. I can't comment. I can't do anything.
Oh, okay. So that's weird. So I guess there's a weird thing in the event. So hopefully everybody's made it without being in the event. So let me know who's here as far as, do we have projectors? We have mental projectors. Do we have manifestors? Who do we have on the call? Hey, Debbie. Aw, hello, my gorgeous one. She's our beautiful ego projector, right? Jennifer is here. Awesome. Rocking the hair. Woo! It's true. Hey, Jen Fry. You know, I am a product of the 80s. Really late 80s. Really late 80s. MG. Oh, Jennifer's the manifestor. Awesome. Oh my God, we've got a lot of manifestors here. No wonder I'm feeling so like focused. Angela's the splenic projector. Hi, Davidian. What?
I worked it out.
He worked it out. Davidian's a rock star. Hey, Laura. Christine is the manifesting generator, emotional manifesting generator, triple split. Oh, nice. We got everything. Clothes, the natural shores, hope. Nice. 1980 baby here. Woo! Love it. All right. So we're getting into it. So I'm psyched about today. I'm psyched to connect with you guys and talk about this shiz because this is so my jam. Like, I have to tell you that I am obsessed with this new level of human design. And I hope you guys are excited about it as I am. Hey, Keiko. Oh, I love you. Hey, hot stuff. Mwah. My beautiful mutant projector, right? So, hey, Allison, we got our serious emotional manifester in the house. Awesome. Oh my God, I am so into my group, my level 2 group. We got obsessed with doing famous people charts. Well, they got me inspired to do it. And so we started looking up famous people's charts, and it's been so fun. And you guys are sending me some great ones that are just like, are really so great, so fun. So Brenny, generator in the house. Awesome. So cool. So happy to have you guys all here. And I hope you're having an amazing Friday and you've got something really big planned for your weekend lockdown. We will have a new video for you guys tomorrow if you're into the spiral dynamics, if that's been fun for you. That'll give you a fun thing to do this weekend. But today we're talking about the advanced human design knowledge. Hey, Crystal. Oh, my master teacher. I'm so excited to see you. Happy Friday. Oh, wait, aren't you camping this weekend? So you're headed out to the, oh, good. Awesome. It's fun to have you. So we're talking about the advanced human design. So let's get into it. What exactly am I referring to here? So what we're talking about with human design, the very first thing we talk about is the experiment, right? Will you take the experiment? Have you taken the experiment? And what that means is that you follow your friggin' design. And that is easier said than done, right? It's a very simple strategy, but it is not easy. It's simple, but not easy, right? And so what that means is that when you are given your strategy, so it's either going to be wait to respond, wait for the invitation, inform, right? These simple things. The reason why most people don't do them is because the mind is absolutely insane, right? And the mind has been conditioned to believe that it has to do things its way. And so we put it on the back burner and we say, you know what, that's kind of a cool idea. And I like, what Raquel's talking about here, but I'm busy or whatever, right? I slept in, I can't, we had this great post that Davidian did about like, what are the top excuses for not living your strategy and authority? And so it was really fun. Like, oh, I overslept, the dog ate it, whatever. But we all make excuses because what happens is, for example, your sacral says, you ask, is it time to leave this relationship? The sacral says, uh-huh. And you're like, but wait, I have 3 kids. I love this person. I've been married for 20 years and I'm not leaving my life in shambles, right? And so that's the real truth, is that the inconvenience of the strategy and inner authority to interfere with what we're conditioned to believe. Now, once you actually do take that experiment on and you realize, oh my God, I'm all of a sudden in a world of satisfaction when I was frustrated like crazy, or I'm finally feeling successful after all these years of being bitter, like that's my story. I pushed, I shoved, I created all this shit. And, I was never recognized or seen for my spiritual, who I am as a spiritual teacher. I was never seen for that. And so I was frigging bitter. And then I realized, whoa, this explains my whole life, right? And I realized like I have no other choice but to live this stuff. So then you start living it. Then you realize, oh my God, this stuff works. I'm taking this experiment, I'm living it, I'm doing it, and no matter what, I'm going to live it. And then you start having the examples in life, right? And I know a lot of you who are here, who are in my certification programs, and living this stuff, you guys know what I'm talking about. You've been feeling that, right? So today we are talking about beneath the surface. So what happens next? So you're living it, you're going, you're living your design, and then what is beneath the surface? What lives beneath? And so when we're talking about the advanced chart, we now start talking about the homogenization of how we are conditioned to think, the homogenization of how we've been conditioned to live, how we've been conditioned to eat, and to be motivated in life. Serious. So look out at the suburban landscape, and that is conditioned environment, right? You know, here's the house, here's the white picket fence, and go and live this way and be one of the cogs in the wheels and go do this, this, and this. And you are conditioned from birth to go and do this. And what we're seeing with human design and the global cycles is that, guess what, people? That shiz is breaking down. And that cookie cutter model is not going to work anymore. And it's not about how you look. It's about who you are. Who you are and how you operate as your unique self, and how you live, what environment, how you eat. Okay. Now, they usually tell you, do not take on the advanced material until you've been living your experiment for 7 years. And guess what? Now that I understand motivation, I'm going to call BS on that, Rob. I'm going to call BS. I'm going to call you out, and I'm going to say, that's not true. Right? Right, Amy? Right? Right, Brenny? Right? Yeah, exactly. How about our youth coming into this world with this knowledge? Huge. So now we have the parents, and that was another thing we saw recently. Someone posted in the group about parenting, is that now we see the parents being able to individuate their children as projectors, as generators, as MGs, as manifestors, so that you, as a beautiful leading edge parents, or even teachers to parents, right? Because a lot of you guys are coaches and you're helping people and you're teaching, right? And so when you're bringing that knowledge out, then the children are not tortured the way we were tortured, right? You know, a poor projector child like myself, who was an athlete, who spent her entire childhood in the hospital because I was trying to keep up with all the generators. Right now we know, and we can provide that intel for the children. And also now we know that we are not designed to eat alike. Perfect example when we're talking about the PHS system. So the PHS is about the diet, how you eat. And that's huge. You know, there's so many issues around food and food sensitivities and illness around food and illness around how our bodies are digesting, right? And so what human design is helping us to understand is that if you have a health-related issue, it is possible that part of it, not all of it, but part of it. So, you know, there's a lot to it. Obviously, our charts are very complex. But part of it might have to do with how you are eating, okay? And so that begins the 4 radical transformations. The 4 radical transformations begin with determination, begin with the PHS. Then they move into how you are living. So again, this stuff has gotten better and deeper for me as I've been in this journey. The reason I keep the amethyst cave behind me, this is a huge geode, right? That is a symbol for me of my caves and having caves as my environment. Now, again, I was conditioned to live in, you know, definitely not a cave, right? I always wanted open and, you know, big windows and whatever. Like, I was not really aware that like the cave was so healing and so wonderful for me. But that is, you know, part of my design. And once I was able to see that and experiment with it, it began to shift my environment and how I felt, right? So a bunch of us were waiting for you in the messenger room. Oh no, Emily, I'm so sorry. We in the messenger room. I don't know what that is. That's a new thing they did in the events. All of a sudden they created these rooms. I am so sorry. If anybody can go in there. I will give you guys a bonus video. That's my new thing recently. I've been giving people bonus videos for like doing things like that. But if anyone wouldn't mind just messaging if there's still people in there, I don't know. That's the craziest thing, Emily. Like all of a sudden they create a messenger room when I don't even know what that is. Okay. So I apologize if any of you were waiting. I totally apologize. This will be available in the group as a recording. So you don't even have to, email it or anything. The Facebook link in the calendar event took us. Oh, thank you for letting me know. Thank you for letting me know. If anybody else can do a little message for anyone, email had the link. It did? To that? That's weird. Email had the link. Wow. Okay, guys. So sometimes, when you're really in your human design flow, the technology stuff is like a big blur, right? Oh, Facebook created the rooms last week, LOL. Well, thanks for letting me know, Facebook. I think I'm MG. Hope you're well. Hey, Tara. So if you don't know what your type is, in the description, you can get the free chart and you can and learn about your chart. So that if you don't know, which particular type you are. So yeah, so let's get back into this. And again, I apologize. Thank you guys for all of that. And thank you for waiting. If you're waiting, I really apologize. Like I said, the recording, if you missed anything, is available for you. So Diana, did you make it here? Thank you, Robin. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to have to check out that. I might have to, Brenny, I might have to hit you up for how to use that room. They're always doing some crazy new technology all the time. Really? Like in the middle of my live, they put a messenger room that I've never heard of. Anyways, all right. So then we have the perception. So how you are designed to think. So again, as we start peeling away the layers of your human design. So for example, okay, projectors are told that they are here for the other, that they don't know themselves, that they know the other, right? So projectors are told to go look at other people's charts, not their own chart, but that's where their wisdom is, in seeing other people, because they have the insight, right? However, your perception, your perspective, and your personal view changes all of that and adds another level. So what I never really understood was why I related so much to the personal view, because everything that I learn and everything that comes through my system has to run through my personal experience. That's how I learn. And that really it's not the same for every projector. And that has to do with the advanced human design knowledge, which is the perspective. So the perspective for me is personal. So that totally makes sense. My perspective is going to be personal. And then, of course, we have motivation. And the motivation is, why are you motivated for anything? And the craziest part about motivation is that it is a huge, huge key to living correctly, to knowing who your allies are, to knowing who your enemies are, to knowing how to move forward in your life in a positive direction by studying your transference. It's not even just the motivation, it's the dark side of the motivation, the shadow side of the motivation, which is called your transference. And for projectors, I would say that's so important, because we're waiting for people to recognize us, and we're waiting for the invitation, right? And invitations don't come around a lot. The invitations are like a lifetime, right, of waiting and for big things. But the transference how people are dealing with your motivation or your shadow is revealed in every conversation. It's revealed in every nuance of your interaction with people, right? Can you relate to that, Debbie? Yeah, exactly. And it is so frigging powerful to understand the basis of motivation and transference. Okay, and how all of these things operate. And I believe that you do not have to be studying this stuff for 7 years to understand motivation and transference. It is something that people should really get a hold of and integrate into their knowledge, into who they are. Okay, so the other thing that's so cool about this shiz is when you split apart your design. If you guys notice the two channels or the two pillars that run down when you see your chart, one of them's red and one of them's black, right? So we have the black, which is your personality, and then we have the red, which is your design. And the design is about the subconscious. Another way to put that is that the black is who you think you are. It's your mind that's running the ship. I think I'm supposed to do this. I think I want this. I think I know what's best. I think I know what business I should do. I think I know ba, 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 ba. That is the mind, okay? And that is the black in your chart. And then when you surrender to the red, which is called your design, it's also who you truly are. And usually the places inside of you that you can't quite tap into. It's usually those places deep in the subtle body. It's that vehicle intelligence. It's that part of you that knows beyond the mind. And when you really surrender to the red, and you really allow that stuff to take over, then you're allowing the universal intelligence to run and dictate your life. And the beautiful thing about human design is, even though I've heard that before with a lot of spiritual teachings, right? If you've studied the science of mind, if you've studied anything like this, you know about universal intelligence, right? Or the Hermetic laws, you know that there are laws that are operating. But when you begin to have the map of your human design, then it's very personal to your uniqueness and how you should be operating through these systems, right? And so when you're in that surrender and you're in that connection to the design, then you can move through life in a incredibly powerful interaction with yourself, your uniqueness, and the universal infinite intelligence that operates on the planet, that beats your heart, right? That pumps your blood, that births babies, that level of intelligence. So here's the trick, is that we as a society have decided that the mind is so powerful, and the mind is the thing that we should revere, the intellect. So we put the mind up on a pedestal, and what we don't understand is that the mind cannot comprehend the vastness of the infinite intelligence. But the design in your body absolutely can. And so the trick to that is to put the mind in the back seat. Now, when you put the mind in the back seat and you fully surrender to that infinite intelligence, the red in your chart, there's a deeper level of information in your advanced chart. And that is the tonal cognition. Okay, so the tonal cognition is the deeper way of living your design. Now, as you guys know, I'm going into some advanced aspects of human design right now, okay? So if you're feeling like, oh my God, she lost me like 5 sentences ago, just let me know in the chat and I will make sure that you get the human design basics so that you can make sure that you understand the strategy, the inner authority, and the basics of all of that. So right now, what I'm talking about is the human design deeper level, that subconscious level that we're operating in, when we can really understand that the mind is actually finite. Thank you, Amy. Yes, the mind is finite and the design is infinite. Okay, and so think about how powerful that is for a minute. When you have a map, like, so in other words, if your mind can't figure out the infinite, then how do you understand how to live your design? How do you really get that? How do you get that surrender? How do you get to be in that place, right? So there's a deep surrender and expansion when you really get to feel into your design consciousness. And then when you're looking at your advanced chart, it's about the tonal cognition. Hope's lost. No worries. Just private message me. I'll send you the basics. The basics is really an important place to start, because right now I'm talking complex stuff, right? But sometimes if you just let it wash over you, you might get some ahas. Those people who are not new and who are advanced and you've been studying this for a while, am I making sense to you? Are you guys following me, right? Are you following me? So what happens when you go to the advanced areas of the chart, you're going through the 4 areas. I have your chart out and you're making notes as it goes. Great. Awesome. And Laura, you're following? Awesome. Thank you. Yeah. So the 4 areas that you're looking at are the determination, the environment, the perspective, and then the motivation, right? So, and then what we're talking about is the design, tonal cognition. Okay, so for people like me, and I'm going to say one more super advanced note here. And believe me, if you're listening and you're like, I'm not quite following it, just let it wash over you. It will start to get the ahas, okay? Sometimes human design is a little bit like speaking another language, and then all of a sudden you don't know, and then all of a sudden it's like, pop, I'm getting it, right? So, and my level 2 people, some of you guys are here, by the way. After we finish circuitry, I'm taking you through the red and black. So we're going to go deep into it. And so we'll talk about the cognition, on a deeper level. So these are my peeps that have been through the level 1. Now we're halfway through the level 2 or somewhere around there. And so you guys are probably ready for this next level. But what starts to happen is, like, for example, my design is a reflector. Okay, so when you separate my black and my red, my design is a reflector, and that scares the living crap out of me after I just spent my whole, last couple years learning how to be a projector, and now you're telling me, wait a minute, I'm a reflector. But it's not true. I'm not a reflector. But it does mean that I have to learn a little bit more about the tonal cognition in a deeper, more reflective way. And that is something that the tonal cognition, that's how we crack that open. Now, with all of this said, so yeah, just let the tone wash over you. And Allison, we are going to talk about that in level 2. We're going to go into that. So we're almost there on that one. But with all of that said, there's something really exciting coming forward for me. And that is, I want to teach this. I have been studying it and mastering it and going through it and really diving in through the motivation. And I started doing some kind of free classes on the motivation and going through a little bit of it. but I want to go all the way in. So in other words, I want to teach PHS. I want to teach the motivation. I want to teach the perspective, the tone, and take a group through the power journey of the 4 radical transformations. And so this is new for me. I've never taught it. It's going to be a brand new certification. So in other words, if you are, so when I was talking to a couple people about this, they were saying that like if you are, let's say you do something like feng shui, the environment is a perfect addition to what you're doing as far as taking your clients through the environment. If you do something around diet, having the human design diet information, the determination, and how to utilize that with your clients is also a really important thing to bring forward and add to what you're doing. So this is something that not many people teach, not many people certify in. And so this is going to be a super exciting, fun course. And so I'm inviting you all to take the journey with me if you are curious and if you want to go on this deep dive with me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a group and we're going to go through the 4 radical transformations, the diet, the environment, the perception, the motivation, and it's going to be so awesome. Also, all of the tonal cognition, which, by the way, a lot of the human design masters, those people who studied with Ra, who are been doing this for a long time, including like Teresa, and people who I really respect in the human design world that have totally created their own interpretation through really living this stuff. They really feel that the tonal cognition through the design side is how people are going to really understand how to live their design as we begin to lose the strategic formula created by Ra. So Ra was very strategic. And he created strategy, right, as the main basis for human design. And what they're saying is now, as they've really learned that there's the mind and the design, and what they're really seeing and what you can look out and see right now, anywhere you look on social media, anywhere you look on TV, is you see that the mind is actually breaking down into mental chaos. There's a mental confusion. That you could look at the US and say we're having a mental breakdown, because there's so much chaos and who to believe, and that person said this. You post something on Facebook and it's always wrong. You know, you're always an idiot. You should have done this. And why? Well, because no one knows. The mind is literally having its breakdown. It's totally falling apart, along with tribal systems, including the government, including the banks, including all of the tribal systems are starting to break down. You cannot trust them. And so if you are relying on your mind, you might go insane. If you are leaning on your mind to make a decision, you will definitely inevitably be led in the wrong direction. Okay, so if your mind is still in charge, then you will see more chaos, more confusion, more pain, more suffering, more frustration, more bitterness. The mind is an instrument of toxicity and pollution and human breakdown. The design, the truth of humans is very beautiful. And it is in this great surrender where we can actually live a beautiful, peaceful life. And so I find the journey absolutely unbelievably activating and powerful and transformational, and really important during these times, like incredibly important. And as you look out and see the breakdown of the mind, the tonal cognition, particularly for someone like me who's read, is not the same strategy. So in other words, as a design reflector, my strategy is not waiting for the invitation, right? Because my design, which is who I really am, is different than my strategy. So that's when there's this level that we need to surrender to, which has to do with your tone, and it has to do with the tonal cognition. And so when we're breaking down the mind, this is the place we go to. And it is very simple once I break it down for you, even though right now it sounds very, very complicated. It's a super simple process. So if anybody here, and by the way, I'm going to read the chats in just 1 second. I know I missed a bunch of chats. If anybody here is interested in taking that journey with me, I'm going to take a small group through. It's going to be super fun and super powerful. Let me know. Let me know you're interested, and I will send you some information about how we're going to organize this group. And it will definitely give you tools to bring this out to your community as well. The tonal cognition is the design sun earth tone. The design sun earth tone. And so what happens with human design is you have the line. So most of you guys know your profile, right? I'm a 5'1". You might be a 4'6". You might be, a 2'4". So that's your profile. So that means that you have, a gate and a line. And then after the line, what makes you even more unique is that you have the base, the tone, and the color. And that breaks down how explains who you are on a deeper level, right? Base, tone, color. So the tone is another example of who you are. And when you use the design, so the red side, the earth and the sun, which are 70% of the neutrinos, right? So the red side, earth and sun, again, this might be going over some people's heads, but the design, earth, sun, the tone there. And that is going to be part of this course. I'll take you through all the streams and all the tones. So Emily, awesome. Pam, yay. Awesome. Very, very cool. Michelle Larson, I'd love to know about this. Jennifer, okay, great. Great. So if you're interested, just go ahead and put, I'm interested. Or you can even say, I'm interested, but it's a little over my head, or I'm interested, but I'm in your level 2. I'm interested, but blah, blah, blah. If you're doing, it might be much for anyone who's doing the level 2 right now, but talk to me if you feel like, oh my God, I really want to integrate that. It is going to be so much fun. I mean, seriously, I cannot tell you how powerful it's been for me to go through this process. Like, ahas upon ahas upon ahas. Part of this lockdown, why it's been so good for me, is because I've been doing this deep dive work. I mean, granted, I'm caved, so again, works for me. But yeah, so it's like, doing this study, I think there's nothing more important than going inside yourself and going through this process. And because I don't think anyone's really teaching this stuff in human design in this way, I guarantee you it will be life-changing. So Brenny, awesome. Christine, very cool. Amy Wolf, awesome. Debbie, woohoo! Yeah, Debbie, I've been waiting to get you in a class. Tara, Lauren, awesome. And you're in level 1. Okay, so we'll chat about it. We'll chat about how that would operate. I'm interested, but I'm in level 2. Okay, so yeah, so if you're in the level 1 or level 2, we're going to chat about how that'll work for you, and how you want to do it. So yeah, we'll definitely figure it out. So what I'm going to do is, after this live, I'm probably going to take the rest of the night, chillax, but I will directly private message everybody here who said they're interested, and we'll start a dialogue on how it's going to look. And particularly Melissa and Allison, if you guys want to join in, we want to make sure that it's comfortable as far as timing goes, because level 2 right now is on Tuesdays. So yeah, we'll figure out how to do that. if you guys want to do it. And Allison, I do think about you a lot because I know you do a lot of nutrition, and I'm like, really understanding this PHS even when you first start doing the basic readings. For example, when I first started doing my basic readings, like when I go to people and get a reading, like, oh, you're a projector, right? And then some people would just throw out, oh, your motivation is innocence. And I'd be like, oh, okay, that's cool. Like, and no one really understood what innocence was. They just throw it out there. And it would be like, okay, so I knew for a long time that I was innocent. And so I kind of would feel into it. Like if I saw sunflowers, I would kind of understand that, like, oh, there's, I get that, I resonate with innocence, right? But nobody told me what the frigging thing was all about the shadow, and how the shadow is what's operating, which for me is desire. And that totally ran my whole life, like particularly in my 20s, right? It just ran my whole life. So learning this would have been really key. And I think that it's really important to bring into the basics. So, yeah. Do I send my email or DM on Instagram? You can do Instagram. I'm on Instagram too, Raquel Spiritualized Biz Coach. Or you can PM on Facebook, or you can email me. Oh, because if you're on YouTube right now, then you might want to email support@raquelreina.com. That's the easiest because it's harder to direct message. So, or you can put your email if you're comfortable doing that. Some people are, some people aren't. So Jen, awesome. Still learning level 1. Very cool. Yeah, let's chat. I'd love to friggin' dive into this shiz with you. I mean, seriously, I'm innocence and desire too. Yeah, it's a deep one, right? Crazy one, really. Thanks for pushing us further than your teachers did, right? Exactly. Well, the thing is that it's also like, if you guys can see, like, there's this whole thing about 2027, right? That, oh, the breakdowns in 2027, whatever. But look around. Like, if this is the beginning of 2027, then we got to get this information out to the world, like, and seriously, like, and we need our troops, right? We need to gather people together and get the friggin' news out, right? Yeah, so it's very deep. Yes, thank you, Amy. So everybody here on YouTube, by the way, give me a like. No, if you're here on YouTube, please, and you're interested, and you don't think I have your email address, then either DM me on Instagram or support@raquelreina.com. And the email address is in the description. So you will have the email address there. So if you're interested, Amy, let's connect, okay? So interested but over my head, not sure I can take something new in, but would love to hear more. Yeah, so Kristen, you may want to do our level 1. We're going to be opening the doors for that too. Subscribe, comment, and like on our YouTube. Thank you, Brenny. I love you. I love you. Thank you. Please do. It does help the video if you like it, if you're on YouTube, and if you haven't subscribed, do subscribe. For those of you who are looking for some fun this weekend, like I said, my spiral dynamics video is going to come out too, and it's really good. I love it too. And share. Hey, Brenny, you're so good. So if you guys feel like sharing this, please do share on YouTube. It does help. If that's your way to contribute, it really does help. And by the way, I do think, and I'm not frigging just saying this, I really do think this is what is needed right now on the planet. Spiral has been awesome. Oh, it's interesting, right, Christine? It's interesting. Yeah, level 2 is really cool. We're going to do yellow, turquoise, coral. So got this link from your Gmail. Oh, okay, cool. Cool. Yeah. So expect a private message from me if you guys are interested. If you're listening to this recording as well, then you can comment or support at raquelreina.com. And we're going to start, check your email. I want to feature you in my new online magazine. You could do the PH and get people. Oh, Cool. Awesome. Yeah, spiral dynamics. So the spiral dynamics part 2, if you haven't watched the part 1, it'll be out tomorrow, hopefully. Hey there, Lisa. Hey, gorgeous girl. All right, so yeah, and if you guys don't have your advanced chart, there's also a link to get your advanced chart. If you're curious about that, then you can get your advanced chart and start learning the basics of it. So it's really, this is just such a fun journey. And, you know, I love to study. I love to learn. I love to take people through the process of awakening and transformation, both through learning and through energy work and through energy healing and awakening and powerful transformation. This is my jam. This is what I love. And I frigging, those people who are turned on, excited to learn, I'm also very practical. And what that means is I believe in having a successful business, and I believe in being in, you know, yellow, not just green, where you're just spiritually awakening, but you don't have the foundation of the financial support you need to live a life that represents who you are. And I'm not talking about just going for the money, okay? It's not about that for me. It never has been. For me, it's about the transformation. So the advanced chart should be also in the description. So the description of this video has the advanced chart link as well. You should be able to get it there. Did someone just post that link? Thank you guys so much. You guys are awesome. You guys are so awesome. Brenny, thank you. Raquel, do you have to 100% know your birth time? So that's a great question. And by the way, if you guys have some questions before we wrap up, go ahead and type them in the chat. So yeah, okay, so I, believe it or not, don't know 100% my birth time. I have a birth certificate that doesn't have birth time on it. Some people who were born around my time may have been, I tried to call the hospital, whatever. We couldn't get it. So, but my mom, she believed that it was at a particular time. I checked with my sister. I checked everybody who they all kind of confirmed. And then I ran my chart through a couple of hours before and a couple hours after, and it was very little change. But once you start getting into the PHS, it does change if the time is changing. So it is good to do as much research as you can. There are some astrologers that can help you find the time. Also, if you believe in muscle testing, you can kind of test it out. You can also run your chart a couple of hours above and below so that you can see how much is going to change. And if you can get your exact time, I highly recommend, and to do it before you begin the journey, because I've had people like 6 months into it, they're like, wait a minute, I'm a 2-4, not a 3-6, or whatever it is. And it really does change your journey. So do the research as best you can before you start. And then also, if your chart is going to change within a couple of hour period, then at least know what the changes are so you can experiment with that into what feels correct for you. So you can experiment with how to get that correct time. Great question. So if anyone has any other question, and I'll take whatever question. I've heard you can muscle test it. Yeah, and some people that works for them. So it's really personal. I keep wondering if you can do QHHT or other Akashic readings to see the birth time, or if you can ask the main guide angel that was with you since birth. They should know exactly. And again, there are some astrological chart readers, and I forget the name of it, but they can find the time through going through the houses and whatever they do. I'm not totally certain with the astrology, but there is a way that some astrologers do that. But yeah, that's a great point. I love that, Christine. Yeah, so thank you, Brenny. I love you. And yes, definitely I will check my email. I haven't, I've been so super busy, but I will. So, thank you guys for being here live. By the way, your energy today is just so incredibly magnificent. I can feel everybody's enthusiasm for life. And even though we're in the middle of a frigging, who knows what this is, pandemic, mental breakdown in the US, a crazy election that's coming, you know, all kinds of eruptions on every level. Like, there's so much intensity on the planet. The astrology is so intense. So showing up here as a group shifts the frequency and the energy into awakening us to higher and higher levels of awareness, of coming together, of committing to our growth, our expansion. We do this as a group, and then we all rise up and we all learn and grow and share, right? We breathe together in the digital space. So we come together, yes, and we breathe together, and it helps the collective. It so helps when you come together. And because your guys' energy, I can feel it so palpably, you are all bringing that into this co-creation of time and space for all of us to grow. Whatever anyone's going through, they can know that they have support, and that this journey in human design, learning yourself, learning who you are, will serve you and give you the strength that you need to get yourself through the confusion and awaken you to your best, most powerful, beautiful life. And yes, even in the middle of a total breakdown, you can be inspired. You can awaken your truth and live your design and live it beautifully and powerfully and let it shine and not be ashamed to be who you are. And so with that, I'm going to send you guys off to a beautiful Friday night. Enjoy your weekend. I will be reaching out to all of you guys who are interested. If you're listening to the replay and you want to join in this group, I promise you it is going to rock out and so transform your life on such amazing deep levels. So I love you guys. Mwah. Big kisses to all of you. Please introduce yourself to people in this group as well. Say hi. It's a really wonderful group of people. So reach out, connect, and I will see you guys all in the next video. Mwah. I love you guys.